Hey, today we're going to talk about games that are new to us. Welcome to Wisco Dice. Hey, yo, folks, I'm your host, the Conesy with the Most, and I am joined today by...
Hi, I'm Suzanne.
January was really a great month, wasn't it?
It was wonderful.
Somehow in January, I managed to get 45 games played total over the course of the month. But most importantly, I was able to play a few games that were completely new to me.
Yeah, January definitely was a great gaming month for us. I was able to play 21 physical games. This is not counting my online plays. And like many board gamers, Conesy and I have a pile of games that we own, but have not played for several different reasons. Some may call it their shelf of shame, but ours is called the table of opportunity. And we have it there, and I always feel guilty about adding new games to our collection when we haven't experienced everything that we currently own.
Yeah, each month we do make a concerted effort to actually play many of those games that are on our table of opportunity. Most of the games that we're going to talk about here in this show and this reoccurring show is going to be games that we continue to be adding to our ever-growing collection. Of course, occasionally we'll talk about games that we got an opportunity to play either at a convention or maybe even at a friend's house at a game night. So lots of opportunities for us to recap all of these new games that are new to us. Of course, we would love to hear what games you've been playing each month. So if you just want to drop a note in the comments down below right now, just take a second, scroll right down, drop in the comment there. And of course, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. All right, our first game that we've got is a little game called Tiletum from Board and Dice. This game is one of the T-series games. If you hear that occasionally around board gaming circles, obviously because the game starts with a T and also has Daniel Tasini involved in the design. Tiletum at its core is just a dice drafting game where you're drafting these dice around this little circle, and each dice serve two functions. One function is that the dice and the color and the number of pips is going to give you resources of whatever that color and pip number is. The other thing that the dice is going to serve is it's also where you take it from triggers an action. And that action is going to be based on the strength of the dice number. It's going to be the opposite. So a low number dice, you're going to get a higher strength action, but a higher number dice, you're going to get more resources, which is a really cool little interesting mechanic. And of course, then there's a board where you're moving around and doing things in various towns and cities and whatnot and contributing. So you're balancing all of these things very carefully to ultimately score the most points at the end of the game. Really, really was a lot of fun at 2 players, which is how we got the chance to try it. But I'm really looking forward to getting this to the table at a full 4-player game.
All right, next up we have Chargy. This is a 2-player game by Kosmos, and it's been out for a bit, but it was a first time that Conesy and I had an opportunity to play it. It sets up really quickly, and there is some variation we found to the game with how you set up the cards and what comes out when. We've played it about 3 times now, and usually it's a pretty close game at the end who wins. It is nice that there are a few different ways to trigger endgame, so you can know that the end is coming, and there's also ways that if you need to speed it up, things that you could do if you just want to bring about the end of the game, because you are on a winning, you're doing a good job and you're going to be winning this game. So nice little card tabletop game to play that is, it says it plays in 60 minutes. It definitely, I think we played 2 or 3 games in 60 minutes of it. But definitely a nice, fun little game. One that you can also condense down to smaller than this box if you want to travel with it.
Next up on this journey is a little game called It's a Wonderful Kingdom. This game is from Lucky Duck Games and that French company that I can't pronounce.
Le Boîte de Jeu.
There we go. She knows French. I don't. Sorry. So anyways, this game is a really cool, dedicated 1 to 2 player game. Plays well under 45 minutes. I really think that our plays were that way. The big thing in this game is it's a 2-player card drafting game, except that there's a little bit of element of bluffing because you're able to, each player has like these monsters that are also kind of cards that they can distribute each round, and they can, and in combination with that, they can play up to 2 cards per round face down in the kind of the bidding area or the drafting area, which gives you an element of unknown and makes players go, do I take that big juicy pile of cards that I know I really want, but I know there's one face down card, and is my opponent there trying to give me one of their monsters, or do I take the cards that look safer and maybe leave that big kitty there of good cards for my opponent to take? So really interesting, really dynamic kind of game. Ultimately, you know, those cards then turn into resources and you end up playing the cards and building your tableau. Really, really interesting, really fun game. Super looking forward to getting this one back on the table. Of course, 2-player games are something, you know, having nice, quick 2-player games when it's just 2 of us is a really nice thing to have.
8. Another game that we played as a 2-player is Corrosion by Capstone Games. At the same time, this one, we played it a 2-player, but it does play 1 to 4 players. So we just, sometimes we like to experience the game so we can work out the rules, just the 2 of us, before we bring it out to a game night and try and teach it to other players. So this was a game that was very intriguing to me because of the steampunk and contraption building theme with it. Those are 2 things that really draw me into games a lot of times. And in this game, you are building machines that they do degrade over time as time passes, hence the name Corrosion. So you're just building these machines and then they're disappearing and you're having to build more as time passes on. And it was a nice sort of unique mechanic to this game. We did find that the game seemed to drag on a bit for us, and I'm not really sure if that was, hey, this is the first time we're playing it and just trying to figure out what you can and want to do and how fast you want things to degrade. So it may be that the next time we play it, it does speed up a little bit because we know, hey, this is what you do want things to wear down, so you can get the benefit from them and replace them to build something newer and potentially better going on. So great little game. It'll make it out to a game night. It's not in my top 10 right now of, you know, all-time games, but it's definitely one I want to play again.
Yeah, I definitely want to try to play it with 4, and like you said, it did seem to draw on and on a little bit too much, but it definitely is one I want to, at least I get it to the table with 4 and also get that second or third play, because all of a sudden that little bell might go off and we go, whoa, hey, that game was far better than we thought it was.
Yeah.
Goblin Vaults from Thunderworks Games is a really cool little game that was provided to us from Thunderworks Games themselves. And we actually, Justin and myself, actually had an opportunity to sit down with Keith, who's one of the designers of the game, and actually play it with him and learn it from him firsthand. This is effectively a card bidding, placement, and pattern matching game. So there's a set of 3 cards every round that you can bid on, that each player will bid once on, and then ultimately whether you win or lose your bid, you will get a card back, either the card you bid or the card that was up for bid. And then ultimately those are going to arrange in little patterns, and you score a bunch of points based on if you meet certain patterns within your little tableau of cards. Gameplay is 10 rounds and can play up to 5 players. So I've gotten this game to the table, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times now since we got it. It's been really popular. People are really enjoying it. Actually do really enjoy Goblin Vaults, and it was a great game to get to check out in January. And of course, I had to go get my own copy on top of this particular copy, so I've got that ordered as well.
And I'll say this game was so popular with the groups we've been playing with that I have not had an opportunity to play it yet because it's been full tables all the other time. So, and I'm not usually a huge card bidding or bidding type mechanic that I like, but this is very intriguing watching it played. All right, next up we're going to talk about some of the expansions that we have played this month. So these are games that we've played several times, and then now we have a new expansion that we are trying out and adding to it to see what it adds to the game. First game would be Marvel Champions. So this is a game where you play a superhero as well as the other players each play a superhero, and you are trying to defeat a villain. You can match up superheroes however you want with whatever villains to make it very thematic, to just see what would happen. With this run through, I played as Captain America for the expansion, and Conesy played as Wolverine. And I think we both found that these characters played true to what you see on screen. Captain America was very much the, hey, bring everyone together and supporting people to go and fight and just bring it all together. And Wolverine was just claw my way through everything. And
his reason he is the best he is at what he does.
So, I mean, we enjoy Marvel Champions by Fantasy Flight Games quite a bit. We have several expansions. There's also several expansions we have not tried out yet, so you may see those in an upcoming episode.
About a year and a half back, as part of Kickstart Monday, we featured Winter Queen from Crowd D Games. And at the time, I went ahead and backed that project, and we got a copy of it shortly thereafter. It's a wonderful little abstract game where you're placing gems and then ultimately collecting gems that have been placed and putting them on your, or collecting gems out of the draft and placing them on spell books that you've acquired, and then ultimately scoring a bunch of points. What we hadn't had a chance to do from when we acquired the game is actually play it with all of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. So there's a little mini expansion set that comes that was available to backers, and so we got that to the table recently, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoy Winter Queen. It's a fun little game and one that's got a very, very pretty cover art. So that's Winter Queen from Crowd D Games.
All right, next up we have Endless Winter by Fantasia Games. So we have Endless Winter, and we played it a number of times, the base game. And this is a recent game that we received through Kickstarter. And this time we added the Cave Paintings expansion to it. Endless Winter is a game that I backed because it was just very intriguing with all the different mechanics it had in it, such as set collection, area control, and deck building, just to name a few. And then when you add the Cave Paintings expansion in, you're adding this additional action space where you're basically connecting dots to create a cave painting. And so you're just kind of, finding this maze and making a pretty little picture. And it just adds another little element to it that I found enjoyable and added some variety to the game. And our daughter, who's played the base game a number of times with me, also, I think, really enjoyed the cave painting expansion on there and gave her another path to focus towards scoring points. So Endless Winter, that Cave Paintings expansion, is one of several expansions we have for the game, but it was definitely a nice little fun one to add on this time.
I would say the two of you played with the expansion. I may have been at the table playing the same game with you. I just pretty much ignored the expansion, and well, my score showed it. So all right, next up we have Ark Nova. So as we all know, Ark Nova doesn't have an expansion out yet. That has been, there is an expansion that's announced to it. But the zoo map packs that were available starting for sale at Gen Con this past year, we did pick those up, and well, we hadn't had a chance to actually play with them. So we actually added those in, and well, that's like an expansion. So hey, we played Ark Nova with the zoo map packs and built our little zoo and had a lot of fun. So of course, you can click up above right there to check out our full review on the blog and see more about Ark Nova and if it's right for you.
So the last expansion that we are going to talk about for January is the Void Cedars expansion for the game Nemesis. And Nemesis is a game by Awakened Realms that came out, I think, a couple years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's got the same kind of theme as the movie Aliens, where you're on the ship and there are these aliens that have come and are, you know, trying to take over and invade Earth type of thing. With Void Cedars, the fun little twist is that these are all in your head. You don't actually have, there's no physical being that you are fighting. So it was a little different to fight these and some of the other aliens that we've come across in this game, and it was just a nice little change up and trying to figure out how to defeat them, which we were not successful in our 2-player game, Void Cedars, with but it was still a nice challenge and something I want to try and take on again.
Yeah, they were definitely much different to try to deal with and try to function with. So it's really interesting, kind of like the meaner and nastier the Void Cedar alien was, the more it was a figment in your imagination. So you're really the little ones are the ones that you're, you know, they're only ones that are actual, real, physical aliens that are on the ship. And so, you know, it was cool. Like if you actually fought 3 of them and defeated them, then that actually removed the big nasty super Void Cedar out of the game, the queen equivalent, so that was really cool. Unfortunately, yeah, did not go so well for us.
Not that far.
So those were our first impressions of all the new games and expansions that we played in January. What new games did you play in January? Please let us know in the comments below. And like I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe and like while you're at it. Join us next month to see what games we've played in February. Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at Wisco Dice. Check out our channel for more great videos and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at wiscodice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers. So please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.